Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always, I am hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete.
Bonjour.
Was that Basil Fawlty or Pete?
It was a bit of a Del Boy.
I'm going with Del Boy, actually.
anyway, Pete's here.
Au revoir for Del Boy, innit?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Rodney.
Today, we join you to talk about Jeff the Talking Mongoose, or if we're being technical, The Haunting of Cashin's Gap.
That sounds kind of sexual.
Does a little bit, doesn't it? But that was the book that was written about this, along with the other book that didn't really make much money, and that was called Jeff.
Jeff.
That's why it didn't make much money then.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
spelt stupid as well.
Spelled G-E-F, Jeff
If
is.
they'd have spelt it Jeff the Talking Mongoose, they might have got a few more buyers.
Yeah.
That's
They
what
might
we're
have.
hoping with this episode, 'cause that's what I'm calling it.
I'm on Team Jeff. Anyway, before we get into that, I'll thank some new and returning listeners. There's a long list here this week, so I'll go through a few of them. Richmond Hill in Canada, Indianapolis, Indiana, Stockport in the UK, Delhi in India,
Don't miss them out. Cardiff.
Cardiff, yes, Frankfurt am Main, regular listener, I'll say hello to you. Groningen in the Netherlands, Mike, is that right? They've got a football team, you know the pronunciation of that better than me.
Sounds about right.
Oak Park in Illinois in the US, Phoenix, Arizona in the US, Dublin, Ireland, Lawrenceville in is that Georgia?
Yeah.
Georgia, US, Stevenage in the UK, Bengaluru in India. Long time listener, man, Bengaluru.
He is.
Welcome back, yeah.
San Francisco, California, Ashburn, Virginia, Boardman, Oregon, Guadalajara, Spain, Perryville, Missouri, and Madrid, Spain.
Oh.
Thank you very much for listening. It's all appreciated. Tell a friend, tell several friends. Tell them you know these four mad English people who talk about random shit. So let's talk about the bizarre case of Jeff the Talking Mongoose. Any thoughts on the title, guys?
So it's a real mongoose.
Is it? We don't know. We'll find out. We'll discuss it.
Is he a
That's
bit like
disputed.
Gordon the Gopher?
Gordon the Gopher, much beloved 80s children's television puppet. No,
Oh.
because he's a gopher. Now, in the autumn of 1931, the Irving family, residents of a farmhouse at Dawlish Cashin on the Isle of Man, and when we say it's the Isle of Man, it's an old British protectorate. It's in between Britain and Ireland, isn't it? The Isle
Wales
of
and Ireland.
Wales and Ireland.
Yeah.
Well, Britain and Ireland. Who counts the Welsh as their own nation?
Tiny little island, isn't it? It's only about 7 miles across, isn't it? Or something like that.
It's something very small, but it's a bit remote.
They have the
isn't it?
TT racing, don't they, there?
They have TT racing, which is motorbike racing. They have Manx cats, which are tailless, and they have Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
And probably a lot of incest.
I wouldn't like to say, but it can be a bit remote. In Cashin's Gap, it's windswept, it's bleak. The farmland's not great.
Everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody. And they reported, the family there reported, the Irving family reported the presence of a strange mongoose-like creature that had begun to appear around and inside their home. The bizarre circumstances began when, according to the Irvings, the sound of scratching, rustling and vocal noises were heard within the walls of the tiny farmhouse. Now I'll explain here, the farmhouse itself is an outer stone building,
Okay.
and inside, with a bit of a gap for insulation, is a wooden inner wall. So there's a gap between the stone and the wood. And they can hear rustling and little vocal noises coming from within that gap. Believing it to be a rodent infestation, they placed traps. However, no rodents were found and the strange noises persisted, growing ever more disturbing. Trying to scare away whatever was causing the sounds, James, the Irving family patriarch or daddy, growled like a predator, and far from frightened, the creature growled back, and they put down poison. James Irving had tried to shoot him with a rifle. You know, it's like, oh, it's a rodent infestation, it's got to be. The Irving's farmhouse was soon plagued by more growls, barks, hissing, and the crying of what sounded like a baby. As time progressed, it became more apparent that whatever was responsible for the strange noises was a skilled mimic, able not only to imitate what it heard, but capable of learning and retaining. Soon the mysterious entity was picking up human language by listening to the Irvings, making gurgling noises like a baby attempting to speak for the first time.
That's creepy.
So yeah, James is whistling at it, and it's whistling back, imitating him.
Cool.
Got to pronounce the daughter's name right. Vora, who is the 12-year-old daughter in the Irving family and only child, took to reciting nursery rhymes and asking the being to repeat them. According to the Irving family, the entity did so in a clear, high-pitched voice, which is apparently 2 octaves above the human range.
Okay.
Apparently. According to the Irving family, the entity did so in a clear, high-pitched voice, again, so above the 2-octave range of the human voice, and soon after it introduced itself to the family as Jeff,
Jeff.
an extra clever mongoose.
Okay.
Is that what you said? I'm an extra clever mongoose.
I'm an extra clever mongoose.
I think Alvin.
Sounds like Michael
chipmunks.
Jackson. That did.
I'm an extra clever mongoose.
Alvin, Simon, Jeff.
Jeff told the Irvings that he had been born in New Delhi, India in 1852. And he also said that he's a ghost who'd taken the shape of a mongoose.
Right.
But the weird thing with Jeff is apparently, if you scroll up to the illustration done by Vora, at the top of the page, you'll notice his creepy little human hands.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a mongoose, but it's
Is it, or is that just a shit?
No, they are. He is meant to have these little front
right.
hands that are like little human hands, because he used to strangle rabbits to death.
Do you like my little human hands?
Is he sure it wasn't just a big squirrel?
No. So
Squirrels
this,
have got proper little hands.
well, this.
Strangle rabbits with these hands.
A little mongoose hand. No.
I'm still on Team Jeff.
Creepy as fuck. Stove its head in with a shovel.
That's your answer to everything. Someone annoying me. Oh, stole them in with a shovel. All calling the Armenian mafia to cut their hands and feet off.
I'll cut his little human hands off.
Why would you do that to Jeff?
Oh, you took my human hands.
Now you're telling like Mr. Slave. Not Mr. Slave.
Who's
You sound like
Mr. Slave?
Mr. Slave was Mr. Garrison's partner.
Oh no,
No.
his little puppet.
And Mr. Hand.
Mr. Puppet, Mr.
No, because
Hand.
Mr. Hand didn't talk.
No, he didn't. Well, he's starting to sound like a South Park character. I just can't remember which one.
Greased up deaf guy.
Greased up deaf guy. That's
Which is
Family Guy.
but
Family
yeah,
Guy.
It did sound like recent.
Yeah. He liked to gossip and would travel around the island, which he did. He's a little miniature James Bond, Jeff is. He travels around the island listening to gossip, and then comes back, he tells all the Irvings, like what's going on in the village, what's going on around the island.
That's handy.
Been a bit of a jump here. So he was born in Delhi.
Yeah. And he ends up in 1931 in the Isle of Man, trying an incredible 7,000 miles.
So he's an 80-year-old mongoose.
No,
Speaks.
he could be a cryptid. He could be a ghost.
He says he's a ghost.
He says he's a ghost, but Jeff, he's a bit of a trickster, Jeff is.
So he's an Indian shaman that decides to come back as a mongoose ghost.
Maybe. There is a possibility he's a poltergeist
Would
as
that be
well.
right? Shaman in India?
Holy man.
Shaman, that would be the right.
I don't know, because that's more Native American, isn't it?
I was
Shaman.
trying to work out.
You're looking at a caprice, aren't you? You're just looking at holy man.
Yeah.
So when the family are seeing this, are they seeing like
A little mongoose.
No, because
a whole mongoose? No.
Vara was the only one to ever seen the daughter, 12-year-old daughter.
This is starting to explain
yeah.
everything now.
But he's having conversations with the family.
Just like those fairies that little girl saw.
Interesting, the poltergeist angle here plays in. With 12 years old, she's entering puberty, and as you've seen a bunch of poltergeists, does tend to hit
like to
around
be-
that age with young girls in the house.
They do like to be tricksy.
Nancy ghosts. Poltergeist, of course, doesn't mean Nancy ghost, it means noisy ghost in German. He would always return to the Irving family farmhouse at Doris Cashen, where he'd regaled James, his wife Margaret, and young Vara with village gossip, and would, the family claimed, even read from the local newspapers before nesting in his sanctum, an alcove situated above Vora's bedroom. The relationship between Jeff and the Irving family was certainly at first an uneasy one, and he was often guilty of what he light-heartedly called devilment. I'm here for the devilment. His little quote of Jeff's. His loud, boisterous banging on the walls and his satanic laughter engendered fear and hostility in the Irvings. They believed that Jeff or the entity was trying to scare them out of the farmhouse.
I thought they were friends before.
It's in relationship got off to a rocky road. Jeff swore a lot. Lots of fucks.
I want your fucking farmhouse. You fucking cunt.
Lots of C words. One day as James sat by a window, he spied a very large cat strike like a tiger, and to quote him, he said, "We ourselves did not possess a cat, and I called Vara to come to the window and look at it. She did so and remarked on the size of the cat, but much more, especially the unusually large bulldog head it had." He quickly realised that it was neither a regular English cat nor a Manx tailless cat, and went outside with his shotgun, intending to chase it away. However, mysteriously he lost the trail, and to quote him, he said, "The cat was ahead of me but easily within range, and it turned into an open gateway into a grass field. I was there a few seconds behind and fully expected to see the cat, but no cat could be seen. Look as I liked, the field was level and there was not a bush or any roughness where he could have hidden, and the hedges were all earth or sod hedges, as they're called here. I detailed my experience to my wife on her return that night, and when Jeff called out, 'It was me you saw, Jim!' Jim actually feels really bad, right, that he's tried to poison and kill Jeff after these events, and he apologises to him, and Jeff's like, "Yeah, no hard feelings."
I'm just going to haunt you for the rest of your life.
Let's talk about, is it a case or a poltergeist? The relationship is between Jeff and the Irving's daughter, Vara, and it bears an uncanny semblance to poltergeist hauntings. We've looked at a few.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Enfield poltergeist, for a start. Black Monk of Pontefract.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it was Vara who read and recited the nursery rhymes that taught Jeff how to speak English. Members of the local Manx community taught how Vara would often be seen walking to school or into the village talking to Jeff. Also her father James was doing the same, but Jeff was always obscured by a hedge. He said he was hideous, that to look upon him would cause madness and distress.
So they didn't see her talking to Jeff.
They heard the voices from the hedgerow.
Was she throwing her voice?
Is she that too gifted ventriloquist?
Yeah.
That's the sceptical response. Now, Jeff's sanctum was in Vara's bedroom, and the early days of the infestation, to quote that, said that the 12-year-old Vara seemed to be the focus of the entity's attention. On account of Jeff's menacing attitude, threats and stone throwing, so you got physical objects being thrown, and a lot of swearing going on. They moved Vara's bed into her parents' room, and proceeded to do so. While dismantling the bedstead, Jeff, who was behind the wainscot, I guess that's the inner wall,
Okay.
screamed, stormed and threatened what he would do to us. The voice was absolutely full of malice, hatred and spleen, and he was stroking the wall with his fist with the greatest violence. When the removal had been completed, in a high-pitched voice fairly trembling with rage, he screamed out, "I'll follow her, wherever you move her!"
Oh.
Creepy.
Now, did you ever see the film The Entity?
Yep.
How did I know you'd have seen that?
I can't remember that one. I think I've seen it though, but I can't think which one it is.
It's a poltergeist film,
It's a
isn't
poltergeist movie where a woman is repeatedly raped by a horny poltergeist.
Oh, I've not seen that one
Yeah.
Mm.
Similar shades to that.
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit less rape.
Well, obviously a lot less rape. Although none was reported, who can say? Now, obviously, we mentioned before, poltergeist activity often involves an adolescent who's suffering from emotional turmoil when the activity begins, and to be fair, 12 years old, stuck in a remote farmhouse, yeah, she's She's going to get bored, she's going to get anxious. Hormones are raging, there's no one around. Did she make up Jeff?
Yes.
But Jeff, literally, when
wasn't
their
it?
relationship became repaired, he guarded the house, he chased away rats, he extinguished the stove if they left it on. He woke them up if they overslept.
He pissed on the stove,
He turned it off with his little hands.
Yeah, right.
He delivered dead rabbits as gifts, which he then claimed he'd strangled to death. The story
Sounds a little
spread.
bit like Smeagol, to be fair.
The story spread across the Isle of Man, to the point where tabloid journalists from all over Britain were coming to try and get a glimpse or hear Jeff.
Of course they were. It was the 1930s.
Well, it's you know,
They weren't that spiritual shit back then.
they were. There was you know, you had the rise of Hitler going on, but all of a sudden people are more interested in Jeff the Mongoose.
He was better than Hitler, ain't he?
Well, yeah, I guess he is.
I just think it's Smeagol.
If you had a chance of interviewing
Smeagol in disguise.
Jeff the Talking Mongoose or Adolf Hitler, you're going to choose.
Well, Jeff.
Of course, every time.
All the time. Absolutely all the time. So, as inevitably is the case in small communities such as that on the Isle of Man, gossip about them spread and the island was literally descended upon by the press.
Oh, this is important. When asked directly if he was a poltergeist, Jeff is said to have responded in the negative, saying, "I am not like one of those," claiming instead to be more like an Indian familiar.
Ooh. Jeff garnering headlines such as Man Weasel Mystery Grips Island or Queerest Beast Talks to Daily Dispatch Reporter. And before long, the word spreads further afield until in 1932 a psychic investigator and foremost ghost hunter of his day, Harry Price, who investigated all the ghosts at the time using scientific methods.
Okay.
So he's the Egon Spengler of his day.
Do you know what? I was right. No. I'll take that back.
You weren't right.
No, it was
About
about the shamans, because I've put in like Indian familiars and,
Still on fucking
it's come
shamans.
up with shamans. But then I've looked at it and it's on about Native American
You see.
Indians.
So, 1932, Harry Price, who is a bit busy at the moment, he's investigating oh god, hang on.
Well, he's got loads on.
He's got loads on. He's investigating a series of thefts at the top of the Eiffel Tower and their tourist kiosk where money and items are going missing, and it's being attributed to a ghost.
Fucking hell.
So because he's a bit busy with that, he sends his buddy, Harold Dennis, to go and invest in old interviews with the Irvings and local residents who claim to have heard Jeff talking or had other kinds of eerie encounters which they attributed to Jeff. Jeff just basically didn't say a word while he was there until Harold Dennis left, in which case he screamed out, "I won't speak in front of that bloody man!"
Oh, so he didn't like him.
No, he wouldn't speak in front of people who he thought had their sceptical hats on.
Of course.
Well, that's helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Convenient, isn't it?
Jeff, at this point, starts speaking more languages. He speaks Russian, Arabic. He apparently can speak sign language. He can recite Welsh poetry in Welsh and do a Spanish song.
Welsh poetry in Welsh.
Yep.
Fuck me, give me the shotgun.
What? Is
Kill
Welsh
the
poetry in Welsh a sign of demonic infestation for you, like?
No, I just fucking hate it.
Well, who are you going to shoot, Jeff or yourself?
Well, if I can't kill him, then it'll be me, will it? I'll turn the gun on myself.
That's quite impressive.
That's the last straw.
No, I think that's quite impressive if you know.
He can speak that many languages.
Yeah, and they could be communicated with. That would be, you know, seriously questioning whether it was this little girl out of a farmhouse, knowing all those languages.
In 19...
She could have memorised it.
In the 30s, doubt it very much. She wouldn't have had the ability to get all that information.
What, a local library?
12-year-old girl
Huh?
living in the middle of nowhere in fucking Isle of Man, local library.
Sure, there was a
Arabic
library
and
with some
fucking-
Islamic texts and Russian
Oh, I
texts.
do Islamic texts.
No,
Not holy Islamic
Not
texts.
in 1931 there wouldn't have been.
It would have been all Enid Blyton, wouldn't it, in 1931, Famous Five?
No,
It wasn't just Enid Blyton.
That's all there was to read. There was only Mein Kampf and Enid Blyton. That's all you had to read in the 30s.
I've got a big Enid Blyton collection, actually.
Have you?
When I was a kid.
But
I used to love them.
Realistically, a 12-year-old girl would not have been able to receive all of that kind of knowledge.
I do agree with
In
that.
those circumstances, in them days.
Yeah,
no fucking way.
In 1931, 1932, nah, you ain't getting that from the library.
No.
If
And
there's even indeed a library on the Isle of Man.
even then, she'd be so fucking savvy to be thinking that, I'm going to go learn 7 new languages just to fool me from finding it.
Doesn't have to learn the whole language. You just learn passages, don't you, and recite them over and over again.
How does she know the pronunciations?
I was going to say, look at some text, you can't even...
Russian? How are you going to fucking
Yeah.
read
Yeah,
Russian?
Russian's like, I did half an hour of
Arabic.
Russian once at college. Half an hour, it confused the shit out of me.
Or
Yeah,
Arabic?
she might have just like mimicked it. Like it wasn't Russian, but it sounded Russian to the non-speaker. Oh, she's
Whoa.
she's
Yeah.
She
speaking
said
Russian.
vodka 7 times.
And she said
must
ski
be
at the end of every
Russian.
sentence.
Vodka ski, vodka ski.
I ski, one ski, the vodka ski.
Oh my god, you're speaking Russian!
See, it's so easy.
Arabic now.
It's not easy!
Daka.
Mohammed Jihad,
That was just a reference to
Captain
America.
Team America. Or Captain
all.
America.
Just don't do Welsh poetry impression.
Nah, we're not doing that. Harry Price, right, he's like, okay, I'm going. He packs up his PKE meter, or whatever he had at the time. He sends a telegram to James Irving saying, I'm on the way. I'm coming to investigate this. He gets a reply back from James Irving. He said, a slight problem, Jeff's gone missing.
Ah, righto, chuckso, I'll not bother then.
In July 1935, Price goes regardless. He's like, right, I'm going to sort this out. Jeff doesn't speak, does not speak,
Oh, he's there though.
but he's there, but he doesn't speak. Harry Price is there.
Again, they still can't see him.
No. He then figures out that gap between the walls can actually echo your voice around the entire farmhouse. And James Irving's like, hey, well, look at these peepholes that Jeff's got, and we see him scuttling around in between them. Little holes in the wall. That's how we hear him speaking from. And
She's big enough for a 12-year-old girl to get behind.
no, it's not big. No, it's not. No, it's not big enough for a 12-year-old girl to get behind.
I don't know.
It's these tiny little scratchings in the plaster and the wood, and
You said there was a gap
You're
between
talking
the...
about a 6 to 8 inch gap.
yeah, that's it. As she realised that she can speak through these little holes and get her voice to project around the house. There's a question I'd like to ask you.
In Russian and all those other languages.
If they were.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Price, having I've kiboshed this case, it's the daughter, straight away, goes home and he writes a book. Starts writing a book called The Haunting of Cashin's Gap. But in the meantime, Jeff returns. And not to be outdone by this man, he said he didn't want to speak to him because he had his doubting cap on. He's got his doubting cap on, I'm not talking in front of him.
It's a fucking cant.
Yeah, probably. He says, right, well, I've made these plasticine casts of my paws and teeth. Send them off to this Harry Price, who does. And he sends it to the Zoological Society of London. And also, the plaster casts go. The problem is that the Zoological Society of London and a expert for the Natural History Museum said that they were both dog hair and dog paw prints and dog teeth.
What a surprise.
Well, I thought you had hands.
Apparently not on these prints. Yeah, it turned out to be the Irving sheepdog Mona was probably the more likely case. Because, I think Mona may have been possessed by Jeff, but has been so long thinking that she was a mongoose, she forgot she was a dog.
I've seen a lot of holes in this one.
I don't know.
More holes than I saw in Sam the Sandown Man.
The Sandown Clone.
That's the one.
Though Tangiel Evans was not forthcoming, there were certainly some strange occurrences during Dennis's visits to the Irving farmhouse, that's Harry Price's mate, from disembodied voices. So, to quote them, we, Dennis and the Irving, sat and taught until just about 11:45. As if nothing had taken place, I suggested making my way back to Glen May. Just as I had shut the door of the house, we heard a very shrill voice from inside scream out, "Go away! Who is that man?"
Don't you think they've noticed if she's like talking into the holes, like, in the wall?
Mr. Irving gripped my arm and said, "That's it." Is it a poltergeist? Is it a cryptid? Is it the daughter doing voices? But surely the wife sat in there with her.
Well, yeah. So it would be.
She's a fantastic, naturally gifted ventriloquist.
Well, yeah, people can tell their voices, can't they? I think it's just that. Personally, she's the only one that's ever seen this frigging mongoose.
There's held intelligent conversations with everybody in the house.
Yeah, but she's just making it up. It's just her, isn't it?
Shrill screams accompanied by terrific knocking, loud bangs emanated from all parts of the house in quick succession, as if the perpetrator moved with lightning speed like a mongoose. The bangs appeared to come from within the roof, Mr. and Mrs. Irving's room, over the kitchen and on the staircase. The noise continued for 15 minutes, culminating with tremendous bangs as if something had been thrown with great violence upstairs. So he went to Vora's room and found that a heavy chair, which Mrs. Irving had put on the staircase covering, had been flung from its place and fallen partly on the bed and partly on the chest of drawers. Vori, who was awake, said, "Oh, it's only some more of Jeff's tricks," but did not appear at all perturbed.
No, because she did it.
No, it was Jeff.
So she's not in the room when they're hearing the noises. It's her, isn't it?
Yeah.
She is in the room for some of it. Remember? They're all sat there.
They just went up to the bedroom and she was in...
Yeah, that one's a bit
Bedroom,
iffy.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's when the noises were.
It is a heavy wooden chair, though.
She can throw a voice. So she's in the room when the voice is there, but when the bangs and stuff, she's not there. She's doing it, isn't she?
You're suggesting she couldn't lift the chair?
Suggesting a chair might be too heavy to throw. For a 12-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl.
Stronger than you think.
No, Livy could. If she wanted to, she could tip over the sofa quite happily. She's 10.
Yeah. Well, you know, the kids are stronger nowadays.
She is. No, but
No,
if she
joking.
really wanted
You're right,
to.
yeah, I know,
how
you-
strong she is. She can
Yeah.
lift up me. She can like lift me up, you know, when they grab you and bear hook you up. She can just lift me off the floor. So she's. I could see that being capable of a 12, 13-year-old child. No
Yeah,
problem.
me too.
So what happened to Jeff? Around the closing of the 1930s, Jeff's visitations became less frequent, and Margaret and Vora eventually left the farmhouse in 1945 following James Irving's death. The following year, the new owner, actor Leslie Graham,
Not Leslie Grantham.
not Leslie Grantham, Leslie Graham, claimed to have shot Jeff.
What?
But pictures of the dead animal showed it to be a large black and white creature. There's a picture of Leslie Graham literally stood there with a shotgun over his shoulder, foot up, holding something, a large rodent by the tail.
Where's that picture?
Now we can find it. Upon seeing the pictures, Vori Irving was adamant the thing Graham was shot was not Jeff.
But if he could change his form,
No one else know what Jeff looks like.
Well,
She-
that looks like a mongoose with human hands. We know what it looks like, but no one's ever seen it.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the investigations of Dennis and Price, as well as those of several other researchers, were never able to provide real evidence in support of the Irving's claims, nor to prove or disprove conclusively the existence of Jeff. Harry Price was sceptical and wrote in private correspondence that the affair is susceptible of a psychological explanation, elaborating that the whole family must be mixed up in it, but there still remains a question of motive. The motive for the imposture lies much deeper than mere publicity, and that is what makes the case so interesting.
So he's more interested in why the family hoaxed it.
Yes. And now Vori Irving died in 2005, and throughout her life she shied away from any public notoriety, but always insisted that Jeff was real, and that case of the Dalby spook was not a hoax.
It could be real to her in her head.
Yeah.
It's real.
She said it ruined her life. I mean, she never married. So as soon as people found out this story about her, that they just like ran a mile from her.
I just can't
She
believe-
said Jeff ruined her life. But she always admitted that it was true.
Yeah, because at the time she had a mental illness, and to her it was true.
maybe.
Do you think she's got undiagnosed schizophrenia?
Could be.
Could be.
Well, one thing is certain though, regardless of whether it was a real or a hoax, the tale of Jeff, the extra special talking mongoose, is one of the UK's folklore's strangest and most fascinating stories. There's a picture of Jeff there, if you find that. Have a look at that. Taken by Vora, nonetheless.
Looks like a bear.
It looks like a badger, doesn't it?
It
Oh, it
does.
looks like a mongoose, badgery thing, yeah. Thin badger,
Mm.
mongoose, yeah, it could be either. Quite a
It's not a
grainy-
cat, is it?
No,
No.
Could it be a dog?
no. No.
1930s photography. I mean, it's hard to say, innit?
Could it be a stuffed toy that she stuck in her
Ah,
hole?
yeah, it could be that.
Could be. I like this one. I'm on Team Jeff.
I could see that as black and white even though. So maybe Leslie Graham did shoot
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, well,
Maybe there was a real
Although
life
she
mongoose
insisted
or badger that was around the place. He shot that.
Well, hold on. Have you got the picture of that? 'Cause
The
if
picture
it
of
looks
Leslie Graham,
anything
yeah,
like
we can find that. It's alright, Jeff. I present to you Jeff, the talking mongoose.
Bollocks!
I can't believe it. How many people it's drawn into it as a, you know, first the family, were they just doing it to go along with an imaginary friend for the daughter, you know, out in the Isle of Man, boring place.
Yeah, I think it's an overactive imagination of a young girl,
Yeah.
perhaps crossed with a mental illness.
Very small, you know, island as well.
Yeah,
So they love a folklore, they love a tale, don't they?
yeah.
Something to go around the island and talk about.
I'm on Team Jeff. Fuck you all. Jeff, the talking mongoose.
All the British cryptids are generally on these little islands though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I like the folkloreness of it. I like the mad eccentricity of it. The fact that it got Harry Price there. The fact that the BBC went there.
It's just a wild tale, isn't it? 'Cause, you know, it says it's a ghost from Delhi and from 1852.
But it could be a cryptid. It could be a poltergeist. It could be just a regular ghost.
Yeah, but then you got to believe in them, haven't you?
The castings
I don't believe in
of
them
the
to
dog
begin with.
paws and the dog teeth.
That's something a kid would do, isn't it?
And the hair was from the sheepdog. Nobody ever saw the mongoose apart from her.
Yeah, the family did see snatches of him in the Always in the War, but no one ever saw her
So
like
he's
Vara
snatching
did.
up
Well, there was that supposed
the glory
picture.
hole.
There was that
That's what they had, glory holes.
that supposed picture of him poking through that hole. That just looked like a teddy,
Yep. One balance on a beam.
like above a picture frame or whatever it looked like. I don't know, but yeah.
On a bridge, I did.
Looked like a badger to me.
Well, I'm on Team Jeff. I love an obscure cryptid.
Was he on Team Sam as well?
I was
Yeah. What about Team Sasquatch?
always on Team Sasquatch.
Good man.
Not Sasquatch hunters,
No.
but Sasquatch, yeah. I'm a Bigfoot expert. You never seen one? What do you know about it?
It is funny, isn't it, when they call themselves experts.
You're like, you never seen one?
When you catch one, you can call yourself an expert.
Exactly, and I think the same goes for Jeff. I like it. It's a nice little British cryptid ghost story. Remote farmhouse being haunted by the ghost of an undead Indian mongoose. Why the hell not?
What, the only... Obviously, he was born in 1852, yeah?
Yeah.
So, it's only 80 years on. Very new ghost, very young. You know what I mean? There's lots of little fucking things in this that make you just think.
Was it man if it's a new ghost or old
I
ghost?
was
I
going to
think-
say, why are you being ageist against ghosts?
Where's the caveman ghost, damn it?
I don't know, it just seems odd. That's all. If there'd have been like a good 100-year gap, then fair enough.
What if it was...
What extra 20 years?
What if it was reincarnation where they kept the consciousness?
MILF ghosts.
MILF ghosts.
He just likes it, the older ghost.
Yeah.
They'd be technically great gilf ghosts, wouldn't they?
Yeah, 100 years, yeah.
They'd be gilf ghosts. Alright, should we end the show on some fucked up facts?
Yeah, can do.
Alright, theme tune then.
Facts,
fucked up facts, facts,
facts.
Facts!
That's a bit Timmy-ish then.
Timber!
The most regretted baby name in the US is... Anyone have a guess?
Timber!
Not Timmy. Begins with an A.
Oh, they do that, eh?
Aaron.
Sure.
No.
Abu Dhabi.
Is it something Arabic?
No, I don't think so.
Alright, okay.
Alexandria.
Aaron.
I already said that.
Alan.
No, Alan. No, not Alan. Aiden.
Alright, okay.
Don't know why, but apparently
The most disliked name.
most regretted naming him. So I assume that is that the parents regretting
AIDS.
naming it, or the kid regretting.
Alright, AIDS! When you...
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then you're like... You always shorten a name, especially if it's 2 syllables. And that you either call them Den or AIDS.
Yeah.
Or Aid.
Do you remember a show called FM? It was on ITV probably about 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, Mike, I remember like fucking yesterday.
Anyway, the character in that was named AIDS.
Dear.
Yeah, actually, hey, do you remember that obscure ITV show that never got more than 1 season 20 years ago? Yeah, Mike, I can remember it well. Like,
It was a good show actually.
Oh, right, well,
I think it was called FM. But there we go. Aiden for some reason.
Yeah. Oh.
Did anyone have a ZX Spectrum?
Yes.
no, I had an Amstrad CPU 464
I had one of them.
Amstrad.
48k.
with a colour monitor.
Can you remember some of the titles of the games?
Dizzy the Egg.
You had your Froggers and things like that. Dizzy Egg, that was
Dizzy the
after, I
Egg.
think.
That was in the
after
Amstrad.
Commodore 64 time.
Yeah, the Amstrad was definitely on there.
Go on, why?
Because just some of the titles are quite funny.
Oh, right.
Impossible,
Yeah.
Chubby Gristle. What game that is? Pud in Weird World.
Okay.
And there's one just called Ah.
Why the fuck not?
I don't remember them.
No, I never had a Spectrum.
No, I didn't.
Our first computer, really.
And
Lots
This
to game with, anyway.
this fact sort of ties in from last week's topic on medieval medicine. Europeans trying to treat the Black Death used to tie a chicken to themselves with its plucked bum touching their buboes.
I never come across that one in my research.
Touching their what?
Buboes, which is the big boils.
Oils.
Oh, right.
The big
okay.
pus-filled sacks under their arms and
I was
in their
thinking a
groin.
bodily part. I was thinking...
So the
what
arse will be
is that?
touching them.
And it's anus touching that. Wow.
Why not? Give it a go.
More than one, you know. Would you have more than one?
Yeah, you have like 10, 20 chickens.
You've had at least 4, wouldn't you? At least 4, maybe 6.
You have to wear under your clothes if you want it touching. You're going to look like a
Yeah.
beast.
Then again, you're also, let's face it, you're not. It's not like you're walking around at this point. You lay on your bed of straw that's mixed with pus, blood, and vomit and
Yeah,
shit.
if you're wondering about it, everybody be like, oh, here comes that chicken cunt.
Chicken fucker. Look at me, boy. He's gone down and making that thing at my fucking face. Get the plague, get out of here. No, he's at home in a fucking sick bed, isn't he?
Yeah, you got to be on your face and stuff a chicken's arse in it. Get away!
A chicken on a stick.
Chicken's arse on a stick.
Chicken's arse on a stick. Get away from me.
Trying my hardest to think of a pun.
What else we got though?
92% of planets that are ever to exist are yet to be born.
Ooh.
Yet to be born.
That's deep, man.
Yeah. Wow. So that means there's planets we could get to in the future that haven't been formed yet.
Whoa.
Yep. Just goes to show how early we are through the
How
universe.
do they know we're that early though?
Because they do.
Oh.
Wow, that's a fucking... What an answer from the science officer. Because we've got various estimates that the Big Bang was 4.5 billion years ago.
14.8.
Oh, 14.8, sorry.
13.8, I don't know, something like that.
Something like that. Billion years ago. They can see it, they can measure it, the background radiation's
Yeah, we
still
can
there.
go back to the very first few seconds, I think, after the Big Bang, we can see.
So we know that's there, we know that happened.
What?
That's a
Through
definite.
Computer imagery or what?
I think it's probably through
It's
mathematics.
background radiation photos of the universe. You can see the radiation still from Big Bang there.
You know the old televisions, the old analogue signal? And you're flicking through the tuning and you get all the black and white.
Yeah.
That's the background radiation.
Okay.
The birth of the universe. Some of it is anyway.
Cool.
So there you go. Fun fact: if you ever turned on a black and white TV and had to scramble around for the tuning, you were watching the birth of the universe just
I
delayed.
knew it was something, not just, you know, just black and white bits. I knew it was something.
That's how big this.
I watched it. And
That's how big this bang was, though, innit? It must have been.
Claire, you're going to tell us now that you've been listening to Russian number stations, so it's just like 23, 17, 46. You're like, I don't need something. I'm going to sit here and decipher the code. After that, I'm getting onto the black and white static.
1100111111000101.
I haven't got the motivation to do anything about it. I just knew in my heart of hearts that it was something bigger than us.
Wow.
Spontaneous dancing is banned in Sweden.
Good, so it should be.
That's terrible.
My God, that makes that makes Sweden like the town from Footloose. Does that mean that Kevin Bacon's going to go there?
Spontaneous
Hopefully.
dancing, that's tragic.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah.
Not much of a dancer, me.
Public places must have a dance permit to allow patrons to dance.
Excuse me, sir, do you have your dance permit? Actually, yes, I do.
Carry on.
Carry on, sir. Hey!
When did they all of a sudden become like a Nazi state?
About 3 weeks ago when the far right won the election.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly. Sweden now has a right-wing government.
Do they?
Yeah, after being a liberal bastion for many years. Decades, probably. Yeah. I'll just say the listener, Chester the show cat, has entered the room.
Hello, Chester.
He has strutted in like he owns the place, which I guess he does, technically.
That was him saying hello.
It wasn't.
Or was that Gary from SpongeBob SquarePants?
That's right.
Got it. Most frogs don't drink through their mouth.
Alright, how do they drink?
They have a patch on their stomach called the drink patch that they absorb moisture through.
I thought you were going to say they suck it up through a straw from their penis.
I thought you were going to say anus, to be fair.
And I thought it was going to just be absorbed through the skin. A little bit closer.
I thought they were going to dip their willy in the water and just like suck it up like a little straw.
Well, like fish, you know, they don't really drink, do they? So they've got to absorb it through.
Yeah, they do. They drink air. They come up to the surface and go.
Oh, they've always the mouth open in the water.
I finally found something that I'm good at.
Yeah?
Yeah. Every year, a village in Montenegro hosts a lying down championship. This year's champion spent 60 hours lying. That's nothing.
Oh, I can do that.
60.
Yeah,
You can move around, surely. You haven't got to spend all the time with your back to the thing.
I think you do.
How do you piss?
I guess you don't.
In the air, like a fountain.
Is that how you do it?
Bedpan.
Yeah.
Or
Catheter.
catheter, yeah.
If you're cathetering yourself just to live your daily life, because you can't be asked to get up, I think you got an issue, man.
I'm going to bring the trophy back for Britain, goddammit. I need your support.
Oh, you know what? If you're going to devote the rest of your life to bringing back the lying down world championship back to Blighty, then you know what, Mike, I'm my fullback in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's start
I'm not
going
putting
for
a-
me page reserve.
He's going to need some catheters. 60 hours, you say? I can sleep that.
I'll do an open top bus parade when I get back.
Well,
I'll be hailed
just
as
you
hero.
asleep on the overtop bus.
Lying down with the stars.
With one of those adjustable beds, and I just raise it just to wave.
Who would you be waving at?
All the throngs of people come to
Only
celebrate.
adoring fans.
You can get yourself up, lift the cup up, and you go, oh, well, I'm tired, and put it back down. Because of this one,
I need to go back to bed.
your muscles are just atrophy into nothing. You're like one of the victims from Seven at this point. That's the I look at here.
Maybe someone else can pick the trophy up for me.
You know what? You pay me enough, Mike, I'll pick that trophy up for you.
What happened to you weaseling on my moment?
Alright, fuck you then. You have to watch yourself with a rag on a stick.
Bring your food.
Oh, shit. Oh, this is depressing. The cloudiest city in the US gets more sunlight than the sunniest city in England.
Oh.
Yeah, I can believe it.
The world's largest beaver dam is twice as long as the Hoover Dam.
Hey! Let's give it up for them beavers.
Cool, isn't it?
Let's give a full round of applause. Full cut of the bun, the post-truth apocalypse round of applause.
Not as big though, is it? But it's.
There you go.
There's like June the Jones, isn't
Up the beavers.
Up the beavers.
The beavers.
Do you remember the cartoon show Angry Beavers?
That was ace, wasn't
It was fantastic.
They were angry.
They were very angry. Well, one of them was.
The world's deserts receive enough solar power energy in 6 hours to power the world for a year.
Nah, let's just keep on banging that coal, gas, oil and nuclear out.
Yeah. Fuck solar.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
The state of Michigan is home to towns called Colon, Flushing and Brown City.
Well, why not? One more?
Yep. Hot dogs were once called dash hunt sausages.
I can see why.
Dachshund sausages.
Yeah.
Probably because they were made from dachshunds in the First World War.
Oh no.
Germany was that much on its arse, it was eating the dachshunds.
Dachshunds.
I saw a staffy crossed with a dachshund on the internet today. It was mental.
What does it look like?
It's a little staffy fat head,
Yeah.
and then a slightly fatter body but still as short. It was mental. So there you go. That's the episode. I'm going to say thanks for listening. I'm on Team Jeff. I stand with Jeff. # Jeff. Don't drink the favourite. Don't join a cult. Follow us on Facebook at Cutting the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. Most podcasting platforms at Cutting the Ball in the PTA. And YouTube is Apocalypse Ball. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Leave us a nice comment if you want to.
Yeah, don't report us, you cunts.
Don't report us for stuff that we clearly maintained was down to individual choice. You know what, I'm going to say it. Fuck you, World Health Organisation. You trusted China.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
And I've been Claire, keeping an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Aim low, but shoot high. Don't forget that.
Shoot higher than the World Health Organisation did over their handling of the COVID pandemic.